Sans Squeamish with another Sonic Lost World stage review, or in this case, boss review, or both. If you consider it to be a stage review or boss review, it doesn't matter. Either way, this is the second stage of Lava Mountain Zone. This is our last area in Sonic Lost World. Don't worry or be alarmed, unless you're trying to get up in the morning. There will be more Sonic. Will there be stage reviews? I do not know. Will there be commentary? I can say I intend to say something about Sonic, due to the fact that out of other games and other experiences I intend to share with you, my viewers, and everyone else, I find the most interesting, from a personal opinion, to be Sonic. Whether I find it making me laugh, making the mood light, or just horrifyingly comical, all wrapped up in one blue, super fast hedgehog package, with a nice variety of colors, elements, unique yet fairly repetitive gameplay mechanics, and of course, Eggman and boss fights, and things like, well, maybe we'll get to Metal Sonic one day. If not, there's a Sonic fan for you to go Sonic fan toy for you to go chew on. I don't know what I was trying to say there. If you're not a Sonic fan, go look that up if you're interested. Apparently you're watching. If you are a Sonic fan, well, it's always nice to go back and look into the history of some of the creepier Sonic things. With that being said, maybe that's a teaser, maybe it's not. Moving on. This is where I play a stage and then review it. In this case, fight a boss or two, and then talk about the experience and the details. As for aforementioned, this is going to be fairly quick. There isn't much to talk about besides my opinions and maybe some details that I missed in previous encounters. Due to the fact that the gameplay doesn't change at all, it's just the environment, which is Lava Mountain Zone 2 in particular. With that being said, here is the gameplay. Or stage. That's a word.
Tired of you guys. about to begin. My only joy is in joylessness. Joy is in joylessness. Joy is in joylessness. only joy is in joylessness. Joy is in joylessness. Joy is in joylessness. Joy is in joylessness. is in joylessness. I welcome death's cold embrace. There's always next time.
Okay, so you just watched me go through the Snowball Lady, and again, I don't remember their names, and the giant robot Howl, Mr. Hoot Hoot, and that one. I don't know. I don't mind this character, or either of them actually. And that's what I'm going to open with, due to the fact that, as you've seen, the gameplay is pretty straightforward. Though these two both have mechanics, at least in the sense that I was using my cell phone, create a little bit of a time lapse. So you can see that they didn't go as fast as some of the other encounters, previous and after this, due to the fact that the snowball, well, the wind and getting hit by the little snowballs, that whole encounter is just about taking your time and going zigzag like you're running from an alligator, because the wind just blows you back and you've seen. Now the second one, well, there's a little bit of luck involved with that when it comes to using your phone, but it is a lot of fun. Though I will say I did this sitting down and not in a turret position, and it was quite challenging. But it made it happen. And that's just how that went. Anyways, in terms of how I feel about these two on a second encounter, I think they're probably I don't want to say favorites out of the Sonic Lost World boss roster, but the Mr. Hoot Hoot is definitely my all-time favorite out of all of them. Even the upcoming boss you'll see at the very end of Sonic Lost World. No super boss, sadly. But, again, maybe we'll get to one of those one day. With that being said, Mr. Hoot Hoot just happens to give me that appeal that I just love from Eggman-themed creations, although I'm not sure if that's where Mr. Hoot Hoot came from. With that being said, as frustrating as the mechanics are, it's always a fun time to go right back to it. I honestly just happy to have an encounter like that. You would think from kind of struggling with it at first that I would see it and go, oh no. Instead, it was a nice surprise, which wasn't so much of a surprise after Lava Mountain Zone 1. I kind of figured what was coming next. Boss fights. With that being said, I'm not going to try and ramble too much on. So, my opinions, like I said, didn't change too much. Nothing really new happens. The environment adds a little bit more appeal. Mr. Hoot Hoot looks great in the lava background. And the Snowball Lady kind of just stays the same. With that being said, my opinion overall didn't shift. I would say my rating probably did. I didn't go back and watch these, or listen, or will listen. Anyways, as a stage overall, same thing applies from the previous one. There's not much to say here. It's kind of just a boss rush, and it's nice to see these characters with a little bit more environmental aesthetic to it, which isn't always the biggest thing, but I think it's nice to see that we can see them in a different light due to the fact that sometimes, especially noted with the next boss, the environment colors don't always match with their with the mood, whether it be the fruit or maybe the gameplay level that they're at. Sometimes it's a little quirky and a little, well, you get the point. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap this up, and overall, my opinion as a Sonic fan, I would say this stage, I don't want to say 7 out of 10, because I personally, as a personal opinion, probably 9 out of 10. I think these two bosses pair really well together as a sit down and play experience, one being fast paced, if you're not on a cell phone, and the other kind of having those tricky, almost annoying, but pacing enough elements that create quite an interesting experience. Whether you're just sitting down to play or you're going through it all at once, it's not too bad. With that being said, from a gamer's review perspective, probably like a 5 or a 6. At the same time of it being personally enjoyable, the combination is two of the more frustrating bosses, potentially, depending on, the target audience and all of that. And it is kind of frustrating. If I were a 12-year-old child playing this, staying up in the middle of the night, trying to do whatever a 12-year-old child does, like break the rules, these two bosses together can be a little frustrating. But at the same time, it's also perfect balance. Now, with that being said, if you're a Sonic fan, feel free to like, subscribe, or a fan of my voice, or share, if you must. With that being said, you can leave a comment, whether it be Sonic related, gameplay related to something you saw, maybe your experience. Have you played this game and have a different opinion? Whatever it may be, comments are always welcome, though I do try to keep the 6-7 brain rot to a minimum. Now, with that being said, if you're not a Sonic fan, same thing applies. Feel free to leave a comment, share if you must, or like, subscribe, and be notified when more Sonic or random stuff appears, much like this intro's change. Don't worry, I'll take a break and we'll get right back to as things were-ish. As you can expect, more Sonic, more stage reviews, and, well, Super Saiyan Squeamish stuff. With that being said, if you're a Sonic fan, have a Sonic day, and if you're not a Sonic fan, have a day, or whatever it is you may have. Super Saiyan Squeamish, out.
Take it easy.